Good morning, everybody. Hi there. Hey, in my last video, I was being silly. I was behind a big pile of books, and it was really exciting for me to look back at the 3 years of my life and look at all the books that I read. Some of them I loved, some of them were okay, some of them I set aside. But the important thing to know is that in the last 3 years, I have gotten probably at least a $30,000 education for simply the cost of a paperback or hardback, as I like to order them, books. So why in the world do I do these videos? First of all, me and my husband are building legacy. We want these truths that we're learning, the skills that we're learning to transcend just our lifetime into the lives of our children and our grandchildren. Secondly, some very wise people have said things like, when you get to the top of the mountain, throw the rope down. Or when you get to the top floor, send the elevator back down. It's pay it forward. We're so very grateful for the things that we've had and we've learned, and that the things that we're able to do now that we never would have been able to do, that we want to pass along some of that to others. That's why we also host our local Cash Flow 101 club, which is a lot of fun and learning. It's kind of a Monopoly on steroids, and it brings to life the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book and philosophy. Okay, so down to business. I did my very best to come up with my top 5 books. Couldn't do it. It just wouldn't be fair. So it has to be the top 9. First and foremost, if you've never thought of life outside the W-2 trap, this is what you need to do. It's old. It's been around for a long time. Buy it in whatever form you can find it. Paperback, hardback, whatever. Read in the bathtub. There's nothing else you can do in a bathtub except sit there and read. Read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, no matter what. This is like the basic foundational principles that will start changing your mind and changing your philosophies towards being an entrepreneur rather than an employee. Secondly, Rich Dad, Poor Dad has a whole series of books. Increase Your Financial IQ is like a primer for learning some financial education that the schools and the colleges just don't teach you. Next, we have Garrett Sutton. He is one of the Rich Dad advisors, and he has a basic book called The ABCs of Getting Out of Debt. Let me reiterate, debt is a 4-letter word, but there is good debt and there's bad debt. Bad debt is consumer debt. Good debt is any debt that is backed and secured by a cash-producing asset. Next, I have Heads I Win, Tails You Lose. If you Google this, you can probably find it for free, maybe some shipping and handling, I'm not sure. Just Google Heads I Win, Tails You Lose by Patrick Donahoe. I'm not even going to give you a preview. You just follow my advice and you'll be very glad you did. It's also a very good read, easy read. This book, I'm showing you the back side just so you can see all the sticky notes I have in here. This is the signature of a fantastic book. When you see this many sticky notes, you know it's got to be good. This is called The Power of Zero by David McKnight. He shows you step by step, and it's a very short book, how to get to the 0% tax bracket. Yes, it's possible. This is why millionaires don't pay taxes, because they're paying their taxes in a different way. They're providing housing, or they're providing development, or they're providing something to society that is of value. So the IRS says, great, you've already paid your taxes per se, so you don't have to pay them directly to us. Next, I have another Rich Dad, Poor Dad advisor, Tom Wheelwright. His book, Tax-Free Wealth, expounds kind of on this, the power of zero, and explains to you how your wealth can become tax-free. And it's really a misnomer. It's not like we're not paying taxes, we're just paying them in a different way, like I said. The next one, this is a hard read, But if you're going to get into real estate investing and you want to do your due diligence and your financial calculations well, try to get through this book. This is called What Every Real Estate Investor Needs to Know About Cash Flow and 36 Other Key Financial Measures. It's going to talk about cash flow, ROI, IRR, all those things that make my head spin and put me to sleep. But the more you immerse yourselves in these, even for a few minutes a day, they become a part of you. They become easier and easier as time goes by. This book is very, very recent. It's by Bigger Pockets, David Green. It's called Long Distance Real Estate Investing. So for instance, if you're living on the West Coast or the East Coast in a very cyclical market, a very high-end market, maybe you could afford your house, but you certainly can't afford any rental real estate. Well, there's a lot of states that have landlord-friendly laws that you could invest in long distance. And if you want to know how in the world that could happen, well, this is a good resource. And lastly, number 9, it's a little bit in-depth. It's written by Gary Keller, who is the founder of Keller Williams, and it's called The Millionaire Real Estate Investor. And you know what? I can tell you, it doesn't take a lot of time and effort and money to get to the $1 million mark in real estate value. You know why? Because first of all, let's say you're putting 20% down on your houses, okay? So if I want to buy a $100,000 house, I'm going to put 20% down, which is $20,000. My partner, the bank, is going to put up 80% of that, and he's a silent partner. He doesn't get any say in how I run it, what I do with it, what I do with the equity. He's a silent partner. So it's kind of like the best deal, especially if you can get a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan, which is fixed for 30 years. And when interest rates are relatively low, I remember having an interest rate that was almost 14%. So right now, interest rates are a bargain. And if you could lock them in for 30 years, that's the best thing in the world. Okay, didn't mean to go on so long today, but I just wanted to say, get started, start somewhere. Download a podcast. Google podcasts for beginner real estate investors. Start with Bigger Pockets. It's a free account, and you have so much information to glean from. Look at other podcasts. There's a lot of them out there for real estate investors who are sharing their knowledge and information with us for free. It's amazing. It's an amazing time to be alive, as one of my other mentors say. So, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.